What if I told you your life doesn't change in one massive breakthrough, but in the smallest decisions you make every single day? Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because success isn't owned by the lucky. It's built by the consistent, tiny shifts repeated with purpose create life-changing results. And right now, you're just one decision away from a completely different future. Small actions define massive outcomes, and most people underestimate just how powerful that truth really is. We live in a world that glorifies big wins, dramatic transformations, overnight success stories, and breakthrough moments. Social media shows us highlight reels people achieving incredible results, building empires, transforming their bodies, changing their lives. But what you don't see is what actually created those outcomes. It wasn't one giant leap. It wasn't one perfect decision. It was a series of small, often unnoticed actions, repeated consistently over time. Think about it for a moment. Every result in your life right now, your health, your mindset, your income, your relationships, is the accumulation of the small choices you've been making. Not the big ones you think about occasionally, but the tiny ones you make daily without even realizing it. What you choose to eat when no one is watching, whether you wake up when your alarm rings or hit snooze, whether you spend your time learning something valuable or scrolling endlessly. These moments seem insignificant in isolation, but they are never neutral. They are either moving you forward or pulling you backward. The power of small actions lies in their ability to compound. Just like money in a bank account earning interest, your actions build on each other. One positive action makes the next one easier. One negative action makes the next one more likely. If you choose to read 10 pages of a book every day, it might not feel like much, but over a year, that's thousands of pages, dozens of books, and a completely different level of thinking. If you choose to exercise for just 20 minutes a day, it might not feel life-changing in the moment, but over time, it transforms your energy, your confidence, and your health. The challenge is that small actions don't give you immediate results. And because they don't, people dismiss them. They want instant gratification. They want to see change right now. But the truth is, the most meaningful changes in life are invisible at first. They happen beneath the surface. They build quietly, patiently, until one day the results become impossible to ignore. And by that point, it looks like an overnight success, even though it was anything but. There's a reason why people struggle to stay consistent with small actions. It's because the cost feels real in the moment, but the reward feels distant. When you choose to wake up early, you feel the discomfort immediately. When you choose to skip a workout, you feel relief immediately. The brain is wired to prioritize short-term comfort over long-term growth. But if you want massive outcomes, you have to train yourself to think differently. You have to value the future result more than the present feeling. Every small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you choose discipline, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who follows through. When you choose comfort, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who avoids challenge. Identity is not built in one moment. It is built through repetition. And once an identity is formed, your actions begin to align with it automatically. This is why small actions matter so much. They don't just change your results, they change who you are. And when you change who you are, everything else follows. A person who sees themselves as disciplined doesn't have to fight as hard to make the right choices. A person who sees themselves as healthy naturally makes better decisions. A person who sees themselves as focused and driven doesn't get easily distracted. Massive outcomes are not created by massive effort all at once. They are created by sustainable effort over time. People often burn out because they try to change everything at once. They set unrealistic expectations, push themselves too hard, and then collapse when they can't maintain that intensity. But small actions are different. They are manageable. They are repeatable. They fit into your life without overwhelming you. And that's the key: repeatability. It's not about what you do once. It's about what you do consistently. Anyone can have one good day. Anyone can feel motivated for a short period of time, but real change comes from what you do when motivation is gone. It comes from what you do on the days when you don't feel like it. Small actions are powerful because they don't rely on motivation. They rely on commitment. Another important truth is that small actions create momentum. When you take one positive step, it becomes easier to take another. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action creates results. And results reinforce belief. It becomes a cycle that works in your favor. But the opposite is also true. Inaction creates doubt. Doubt leads to hesitation. Hesitation leads to more inaction. And before you know it, you're stuck. The difference between people who achieve massive outcomes and those who don't is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's their relationship with small actions. Successful people respect the process. They understand that greatness is built in the mundane. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't rely on bursts of inspiration. They show up day after day doing the small things that others overlook. It's also important to understand that small actions don't have to be perfect. In fact, perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait until everything is ideal, you'll never start. Imperfect action is always better than no action. A short workout is better than no workout. A few minutes of learning is better than none. A small improvement is still an improvement. Over time, these small actions begin to stack. They create a foundation, and that foundation becomes strong enough to support bigger goals, bigger challenges, and bigger results. Without that foundation, any success you achieve is fragile. It won't last, but with it, your growth becomes sustainable. Another powerful aspect of small actions is that they reduce resistance. Big changes feel intimidating. They trigger fear and doubt, but small actions feel manageable. They lower the barrier to entry. They make it easier to start, and starting is often the hardest part. Once you begin, you create momentum, and momentum carries you forward. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to see massive outcomes. You don't need to make dramatic changes overnight. What you need is awareness. Awareness of the small choices you're making every day. Awareness of the direction those choices are taking you, and the willingness to adjust those choices one step at a time. The truth is, your future is being shaped right now in the smallest moments of your day. Not in the big decisions you overthink, but in the tiny habits you repeat. And if you can master those moments, if you can take control of those small actions, you gain control over your life, because massive outcomes are not random. They are predictable. They are the natural result of consistent, intentional action, and that means they are within your control. You don't have to wait for opportunity. You don't have to rely on luck. You create your outcomes through what you do every single day. So instead of asking, what big thing do I need to do to change my life? Ask yourself, what small action can I take right now? Because that's where it starts. That's where everything begins. Not with a huge leap, but with a single step taken in the right direction.